Round 7 of the Guinness Pro 14 season finds itself nestled somewhat awkwardly amongst 4 weekends of European action, which invariably, of course, puts us in the risk and reward realm of resource rotation roulette. 12 months ago, Edinburgh head coach Richard Cockerell was pilloried for arriving here in Cork with a barely recognisable starting 15 due to Champions Cup aspirations, and the heat was turned up when Munster scored no fewer than 6 first-half tries, including an 8-minute hat-trick from Keith Earls to lead 34-7 at half-time. By close of business, Munster's winning margin was stretched to 30 points, and Edinburgh's 15-year wait for a win in Cork was set to continue. Tonight, well, the tale of the tape could be a whole different story. Munster's draw against Racine last weekend in Limerick puts their Champions Cup chances on a thin edge, and with back-to-back matches against Saracens on the horizon, it's their turn to test their strength in depth. Edinburgh, well, they're of course in the Challenge Cup, and they come here locked and loaded, virtually at full strength. Richard Cockerell's side showing in fact just 2 changes from that which started the 16-all draw with Bordeaux last week, with both Stuart McAnally and Hamish Watson making their first appearances of the season. McAnally's last game, Scotland against Japan, and that World Cup exit in the final pool match. Watson returns having been injured in Yokohama against Ireland, which ended of course his World Cup so prematurely. Henry Pyrgos and Jaco van der Walt are the half-back pairing tonight, and there's no lack of pace or indeed power in that back three. Duan van der Merwe, Baroni Saw in the wings, and Blair Kinghorn at full-back. And we know all about the ball-in-hand talent of Bill Mata, who wears number 8. Mark Bennett wearing number 13 alongside Matt Scott. He's been in try-scoring form with 5 already this season. And what a night and what a moment it is for the double centurion, Stephen Archer. The 11th player in Munster Red to twice reach 100 caps. 200 not out tonight for the hugely popular Stephen Archer, with a couple of seismic showdowns with Saracens on the horizon. Johan van Graan always likely to make wholesale changes, and it's a dramatic overhaul tonight. 14 changes from the Racine game in Limerick. Jack O'Donoghue, the only player to retain a starting berth, and the Waterford man captains the side from the blindside flank. A huge night in the burgeoning career of 20-year-old fly-half Ben Healy. The former Nina Ormond and Glenstal Abbey prodigy has excelled with Gary Owen, and tonight he continues his development with a quantum leap into the senior ranks with Munster. Marius Maitreya is the man in charge, taking charge of his 93rd game in this competition. It is 15 and a half years or thereabouts since Edinburgh last came to Cork and won. And as I said, they were put to the pin of their colour this time 12 months ago, virtually this night last year, when they shipped 44 points and could reply with only 14. They were decimated in the opening 40 minutes as Munster ran in 6 tries. But it is a very experienced Edinburgh side that come here tonight against a much changed Munster outfit, and they come here in reasonably good form. And there's an anxious early moment for young Ben Healy, who's we saw Peter Stringer in the warm-up, by the way, in case the people at home are just joining us. He took one hell of a bang to the face.
Yeah, he took a bit of a knock, but he won't be thankful to Nick McCarthy for that pass. You know, right at his bootlaces, not the start that Munster wanted. But, you know, great take from Jack O'Donoghue, leading the side tonight. He's going to have a massive game. That back row battle, we heard Richard Cockerell talking about it before the game. It's going to be huge, and the platform that these guys set for these young Munster halfbacks is going to be crucial.
Well, they find themselves, Munster that is, on the defensive inside the opening 60 seconds. And I thought on Ben Healy, you spend so much of your young amateur and schoolboy career looking forward to your first involvement in the senior ranks at professional level, and 10 minutes before you're supposed to go on stage, as it were, you take an almighty smack to the face. And we were worrying even as he went in before the kickoff whether or not he would reappear, but he is out there, and let's hope he can settle down. He and his half-back partner Nick McCarthy, who makes only his 4th appearance of the season tonight.
Crouch.
On the other side of things, the vastly experienced Henry Pyrgos, of course, back at Edinburgh and captain the side tonight. 30-year-old scrum half to feed the Edinburgh offensive here. The ball is wedged beneath the boot of Bill Mata. Pyrgos waits, bit of a shove on from the Munster collective. Oh, there's a little bit of a hole there, and almost through was Matt Scott, the inside centre. Edinburgh up to the line here, and we might have to have a look upstairs to see whether or not the visiting team have scored a try inside the opening 2 minutes.
TMO.
Yes, Marius.
Stefano. On-field decision is try. We're looking for double movement, please, if it's in the same movement.
So we're checking the possibility of a double
to score
movement.
the try.
I think it's from Matt Scott.
Okay, on-field decision is try. Check for possible double movement if he has propelled himself.
Stefano Penne is the television match official in Cork tonight. Let's have a look at this one again, because he seemed to be very close.
Seemed to be dragged over the line. Good line from him initially, but contact and the tackle seemed to have been made. Alex Wooden stepping in there. Scott just stepped inside Ben Healy.
Is anybody?
Maurice Maitre initially in a very good position to see it firsthand. What will he make of these replay angles? What will Stefano Penne make of it in the television match official truck?
And he's just placing it.
Okay, Marius, this is the only angle where we can see the ball.
Yeah.
The ball is here available, always in the hands of the ball carrier.
Okay.
He has been tackled and he placed the ball over the goal line.
Okay, so he doesn't use the legs to propel himself forward. It's always a tackle. It's not a double movement. It's nobody from red players on top to get possession of that ball, so he's entitled to reach out towards the goal line and to score that try. Is it correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I may order try. No, he's the same. He doesn't use, it's not a double movement.
He has always been in possession of the ball.
Yes, confirmation of the fact that Edinburgh have got their noses in front with a Matt Scott try inside the opening 2 minutes here. No double movement. It was the momentum that carried him within reach of the line, and then his ball placement. There was no doubt about that whatsoever. The man who scored his first ever try in Edinburgh colours all the way back in 2011 against Munster does the same thing again tonight, very, very early on here.
Yeah, it looked like he had been stopped probably 3 meters short of the line, but just that momentum from the rest of the Edinburgh pack driving him over. What was interesting to see, he'd encroached to the back foot of the scrum. He was nearly on the back foot. He should have been 5 meters back, but the ball was still at the number 8's feet. So it's probably something the TMO should have looked at as well.
Well, the decision goes against Munster, and already they have a little bit of an uphill battle on their hands tonight against this strong Edinburgh side, who come here in good form, albeit they will have felt aggrieved that they didn't get a win last week in the European Challenge Cup in that game against Bordeaux. A game that they controlled. Richard Cockerell said they made a lot of sloppy mistakes and unforced errors. He wasn't happy really with the performance.
Use it!
He would be absolutely delighted. It goes without saying if they could get out of Cork tonight with a win. 15 and a half years since they last did that. Their record away, either in Limerick or Cork against Munster, is not favourable. Few sides have a favourable record though in Limerick and Cork, and Shane Daly, who's been in exceptional form this season, back in the side and looking to pick up where he left off over the opening 4 or 5 rounds of matches. And we will forgive Ben Daly a few early nerves, I think it's fair to say, tonight. An errant pass off his left hand there, straight to touch.
Yeah, look, it's a game this guy's been looking forward to for a long time, and you know, anyone's first big performance, you know, there's going to be a bit of time, a little bit of settling in. Great take there from Shane Daly at the back, a bit of footwork and, you know, carrying from Tommy O'Donnell. Like we said, we're going to need to see these back rowers carrying the ball, getting over the gain line, but you know, certainly for Ben Healy, give himself a little bit of an opportunity to settle into this game and just do the simple things really, really well.
And McAnally going for and finding Ben Toulis, the Edinburgh second row, targeting that line out, and the carry from Bill Mata. They go deep and then they go skyward. A little bit of a slice. It's going to drop on the Edinburgh 10-metre line and be fielded extremely efficiently by Blair Kinghorn in at full back tonight. Started at full-back in the World Cup against Russia and then found himself on the wing in that game against Japan. Mata gets them moving again through Hamish Watson. Great to see him back in action tonight. In goes the tackle then from Healy.
Red first, then by blue.
It's a marginal call, but nothing going the way of Ben Healy in the opening 5 minutes here. But
by red.
Very much a case of settling into his endeavours. It's not Ben Healy, in fact. Yeah, it's a good spot, isn't it, on Calvin Nash, just off the fingertips.
Yeah, listen, I suppose Edinburgh mixing their game up. They, a bit of a kick exit there initially, and moving the ball to the width. And Munster have got to be wary of that and fill the pitch and not overcommit to the breakdowns in the middle of the field, and just keep an eye on both sides, because the threat of this Edinburgh back three, it potentially is a really, really dangerous prospect for Munster, particularly out in these wider channels where Edinburgh are quite strong.
Make sure it's no actual pressure. Support your weight. Hold your break foot out. Don't push your head. Hold your weight.
Yes, we all know about the try-scoring exploits of Duan van der Merwe on that left wing, and they've added Ironi Sai, of course, the 4 times cap Fijian flyer on that other wing.
Crouch!
Was part of the preliminary Fijian squad for the World Cup, played in a couple of the warm-up games but didn't make the final selection. Matt now just pop one infield to the try scorer Matt Scott. Edinburgh recycle just inside their own half of the field and get it away to Magnus Bradbury, player who was called up by Gregor Townsend to the Scotland World Cup squad following that injury to Hamish Watson. That's a little bit loose, and Munster committing resources now to try and drive over the ball, but Edinburgh have secured it. Pyrgos box kicking down that far side. Ball was in the air a long time and well watched by Calvin Nash.
Use it.
He, like Shane Daly, one of those players that Jerry Flannery will have been talking about, who you play extremely well over the opening 4 or 5 rounds of games, and then you find yourself sidelined for the couple of Champions Cup games and you'd be itching to get back in and among things. Solid hit there by Tommy O'Donnell on Bradbury, I think it was, but it leads to an Edinburgh penalty. Munster not rolling away. Just got
Number 1, you put
pinned
yourself
in there.
In the first place there.
Liam O'Connor, I think.
Roll.
Again, good pressure from Edinburgh. You know, that set piece from a Munster point of view looks very strong. That scrum looks strong. It's just these moments. Munster have got to be really disciplined, not give Edinburgh these opportunities to get into a 22, and just trust their defence, and just make Edinburgh play and take them through phases. Just be really, really disciplined.
And that's a good touch find from the penalty down that side from Kinghorn. There's the take from Bradbury. Two Munster players going in to make the tackle. The initial hit from O'Connor was excellent, and then he just got himself on the wrong side. Just his second start of the season, +2 off the bench. He started the game against the Southern Kings in October. Well, that's a little bit loose and over the top of Ben Toulis. A let off for Munster. And away they come with Arnold Bota. Now Healy, as they put the ball through the hands inside their own 22. Arnold straightens and goes directly into the challenge of Mark Bennett. Archer, now a member of the 200 club, of course. Waiting for his scrum half Nick McCarthy to arrive, the former Leinsterman. Munster wisely in this situation, just slowing things down a little bit for Ben Healy, who can kick exceptionally well, by the way, off both feet. Kinghorn. And that's good covering in the backfield from Nash. Space over on this near side. A lot of ground for Shane Daly to make a cross, and ball into touch just shy of that Munster 22.
Yeah, Munster just leaving Shane Daly in the backfield alone. They're 14 in the kick chase line. Something Edinburgh looked up and saw the space in behind. Ideally, like your winger Wooten, just dropping a small, but just hedging his bets and being able to go forward if Edinburgh moved that ball to the edge, but just hold his depth a small bit. Keeping that pressure back on Munster and struggling to get out of their 22 at the moment.
A little bit short of game time this season. Alex Wooten restricted to just 40 minutes against
Ball.
Cardiff.
Timing is good.
Good take
One
from Darren
stop,
O'Shea.
going backwards. One stop. Use
Marshall
that.
has it and McCarthy waits.
It's carried back. It's carried back.
Up goes the box kick from Nick McCarthy. A well watched by the Fijian. So took it well.
Release. Great.
Pyrgos. Van der Vault slings one out to Kinghorn. That's a flat pass despite the cries from the Munster faithful over on that far side. It's
No hands wet, off feet.
It's always a feature down here in Cork, whether it's the hooker at line-out time or those marginal decisions. Vociferous crowd.
They're very well educated. It was a mile forward from where we were sitting.
Roll red.
There's the try scorer, Scott again. Edinburgh endeavouring to recycle quickly and keep the tempo with which they've started this game going. Carry the fight, Schoeman now, Van der Vault again, and it goes to Tunis. Another feature of the Scotland World Cup squad. And this time they go to Cesarelli, the tight head prop. 9 times capped Italian front row forward. Pyrgos now. Mazza. Munster over the ball with Archer making a nuisance of himself, making slow ball for Pyrgos and Van der Vault. This time Wooten is backtracking. Oh, that's just measured to perfection or a tiny bit fortunate, depending on which way you want to look at it.
Yeah, initially good pressure from Archer and Darren O'Shea in that midfield, forcing Edinburgh back. Again, just indecision in the back three. Just need a little bit of communication,
good
whether
timing.
Shane Daly coming onto the ball and just that communication with Wooten. It's just Munster need to clarify that, because if Edinburgh find themselves in a position where they can't go forward, they're going to use that kick to the corner, and at the moment they're getting a bit of reward for it.
Ball.
Marshall has it, and he has a little bit of a look around the side. Support arrives from Wooten, who's very close to that touchline, and he's bundled over it.
Yeah, lovely little offload from the hooker, just out the back door, and Wooten in support, but just too close to the touchline, and
There's the middle.
a little bit of an opportunity.
Munster, there's the middle.
But again, just the position on the field, Munster need to relieve
Let's
a little
go.
bit of this pressure, whether it's from McCarthy, whether it's from Healy at 10, just a bit of control, get Munster down into the Edinburgh half and get a bit of ball and start playing with it rather than defending.
7-0 down and offloading inside their own half of the field. There was a lot of talk about the 12 offloads to 10 last week against Racing in Limerick, and Munster get the decision from the line-out, which goes down well at Irish Independent Park. Scrum's the option.
That's right. The scrum.
Man of his experience won't be happy with that, particularly Munster not really competing in the air.
First one.
McAnally just back in the side again. It's really
Just
strong
make sure
Edinburgh
your
front row.
guys are holding away.
Edinburgh will be pretty pleased with this opening start. Munster still looking to get a foothold in the game, and just need to, like I said, need to get hold of the ball and take Edinburgh through a few phases, see what they're really about, and test the defence, and hopefully we get a bit of territory and get a bit of confidence into this young side.
First appearance in, what is it now, 7 weeks for Stuart McAnally.
Stop 7.
Healy drills one down into the Edinburgh 22. One for Wooten to chase. Was that in touch from Maroney's side? If not, he's done exceptionally well to turn that around for Edinburgh. He looked in all sorts of trouble, as Daly is now. And he's done well to keep himself in field. He just checked where that touchline was and managed to roll away from it. That was a better kick from Healy. Pention there to chase for Wooten.
No.
14 minutes in.
Use it.
In terms of the kicking game, Munster have found themselves back around their own 22 quite a lot. That one's very close to the tram lines. Now, not forward on this occasion, having taken two pretty well. Ronnie side was unlucky on the third occasion.
It's another great quick kick from McCarthy. You're right where you want it, close to the touchline. I'd like to see that Munster chase, just either getting up to compete or just hitting man and ball when the Edinburgh winger gets hold of it and just get them under that pressure, because Mick McCarthy's had 2 really, really good kicks so far and putting Edinburgh under pressure.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
So a decent platform here for Nick McCarthy as he feeds that Munster scrum, and it's controlled at the base by Arno Botha. 2 front rows are up, and Munster have the penalty. And you talk about entry points into the game, and that, well, we've had to wait 15 minutes for any real energy from the Munster side, and that's one way to get it.
Step up. Walking around.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
Here's the mark.
It's going to be a tough battle in there. It looks like Edinburgh initially got the shove on, but
what's the option?
The referee has said he's just walked around and, you know, caused that Munster hooker to pop up. But again, like you spoke about, those entry points into the Edinburgh half, all these little moments, you know, give these guys a little bit of confidence and looking for a good touch finder here.
And Ben Healy takes Munster deep into Edinburgh territory, midway inside that 22. I thought initially it was going to be a shot at goal. He seemed to fancy it.
Hey.
Can he make it count here from Reece Marshall's line-out throw? 3rd start of the season for the New Zealand-born hooker. Oh, it's loose at the front.
Numero 4 su 15, Tuscio non ancora finita.
Yeah, number 4, knock on.
They'll be livid with themselves in that situation. Set piece inside the 22, Wycherley just didn't quite gather it.
Yeah, a little bit scrappy. I think it was nearly Archer's head on the way down. It just dislodged the ball from his hands. Just a little bit eager with the drive, and big moment, last opportunity.
The hand, putting the hand in the middle, you think?
And just if they're coming early.
Timing for me was good, but I'm definitely looking at that, okay?
Not altogether, without making excuses, surprising. I mean, you're in that Champions Cup bubble with the first team squad ostensibly for 2 solid weeks, and then you have to kind of come in with that extended squad and try and pick things up as they were 2 or 3 weeks previous, and there's always margin for error, room for improvements.
There is, yeah, and I suppose Tommy Donald spoke about it beforehand, and you know, these guys are fresh, they're chomping at the bit. They had opportunities early on in the season, and then the internationals came back for the big games, but these guys are fresh, and you know, there's going to be a few moments of errors, but it's how they stay in the game and how they work for each other in these combinations.
Rock!
Bill Mata once again off that Edinburgh scrummage gets his side moving, and they through Magnus Bradbury get outside their own 22.
Use it! Stay bind.
Hoisted high. Again, testing the Munster back 3 and their capabilities under that high ball. There's not a huge amount of wind around this evening. Good take from Daly. They come back on the short side. Healy now into a little bit of heavy traffic. Gets the ball back on the Munster side, and the presentation was good for his half-back partner. Swallowed up in midfield was Dan Goggin. Decent tackle from Jaco van der Walt on that occasion.
Use it!
Marshall got it out to Arnold, and it's been knocked forward again. It's been an error-strewn opening 20 minutes here really from the home side, and it started really from the kickoff with that first pass between McCarthy and Healy.
Yeah, that's frustrating from a Munster point of view. You look at the way they're playing, and there are opportunities. They'd like to see them move it to the edge a bit. They're hitting the midfield. They're coming back, you know, into the teeth of where Edinburgh are strong, and the ruck ball is just a little bit slow, and then they're trying to generate quick balls. So it's just changing that point of contact, spread Edinburgh around, you know, look for soft shoulders, look for gain lines, because any little bit of a gain line means that they're retreating, and then you have an advantage. So just to like to see the tempo up a small bit.
Crouch!
5 handling errors in 19 minutes is uncharacteristic of any Munster side. Well, there's no second chance there. Straight away, the arm goes out of Marius Maitreya. Edinburgh penalty. It's against Liam O'Connor.
Clearing. Both.
First time round, that looked a bit harsh. Thought Edinburgh went down first, but referee not having any of it, just wanting to get on with the game. And it's going to be an area where, you know, Munster need to be strong, like we spoke about that platform. And the moment with Nick McCarthy and Ben Healy just finding their feet a small bit, it's important. We spoke about the strong base, strong stability on the platform from this pack, and need to be disciplined right throughout this game, because don't want Edinburgh sneaking ahead anymore.
Well, the opening quarter of the game has gone by pretty quickly, and Edinburgh have dominated. Remember, this time last year in this fixture, at this point Munster were 19-0 up, had already run in 3 tries. And it's a long way out, but he's well capable. It's certainly within his range, and that's brilliantly struck. And they extend their lead to 10 points. Edinburgh hit double figures. 20 minutes gone in the match, and just before we kick off, let's bring in Stephen Larkham, who's got his headphones on and is ready to chat to us with Stephen. Just first off the bat, a lot of excitement around the inclusion of Ben Healy tonight, and I know he got a serious belt in the warm-up. Was there any chance before the game that was going to keep him out of tonight's game, or was he okay to start?
No, there was no issue there. He just got a knock to the nose, and a bit of blood started coming out, but there was no issue before the game. He was always going to start.
Okay, it's been a fairly stern examination of your side in the opening quarter of the game here, now trailing by 10 points, having conceded that try inside the opening 2 minutes. What would you like to see your side do in terms of trying to get a foothold in the next 10 minutes or so?
Keeping the pressure on down this end of the field. I think we've had a couple of good exits, but we've struggled in our backfield to counter their kicks. So I think playing a bit smarter out of our end, and then make sure that we keep the pressure on down the other end by having a better backfield.
Okay, well, your team very much in the on the attack, on the front foot, so thanks for your time, Stephen.
Thanks,
appreciate it. So here come Munster now with Nick McCarthy, and they get the ball away to Arno Botha. McCarthy again, snappy service required as they try and change the point of attack, and they go in with the loose head prop, Liam O'Connor, on this occasion. McCarthy once more. Healy has a little look around the corner himself. He's got the full repertoire of skills. We saw it prevalent for the Irish under-20s in that Grand Slam campaign, and again in the World Cup in June in Argentina. And here he is with ball in hand, and he feeds the 200-man Stephen Archer. He's struggling to get the ball back, and that's because the arm of Bill Matter was wrapped around the ball there while he was off his feet. And Munster have another opportunity here to get their first points of the evening with a penalty.
Yeah, better from Munster. You know, offloading the ball, popping out of the tackle and moving the ball to the edges, and just that tempo, that speed of rugby, like we spoke about, it just gives Munster an opportunity to be on the move and come onto the ball with a little bit of pace, and they got the rewards for it on that occasion. So it's a little bit better, and I suppose, like Stephen Larkham was saying, he just wants to be more accurate and play the game down in this area of the field to give them an opportunity that scores.
Healy strikes it well with that right foot, and Ben Healy is up and running in Munster colours, and Munster are up and running after 23 minutes in Cork, and that will do the nerves no end of good for the youngster.
Yeah, absolutely, just what he needed, and more of the same now from Munster again. Take hold of this kick and a clean exit. It's a bit of indecision in terms of Nick McCarthy or Ben Healy, who's in charge of those and who's controlling these exits. So that's an area of the game where they really, really need to improve on.
Matanoi up to halfway, slings one infield to the ever dangerous Kinghorn. Oh, that took a bit of handling from Van der Merwe, just grasped it with the fingertips. Schoeman. Tackle, good line speed from Munster. Arnold leading the charge. Healy putting his body in harm's way there. Up against Hamish Watson, that's clever. Now Van der Merwe, so dangerous in these situations. You've got to get to him quickly and try and wrap up those arms as he looked to offload that off the deck. Munster going in with Calvin Nash, and now Tommy O'Donnell again. As back come Edinburgh. They got to be, well, the ball was out there. Marius Maitreya right there. Was it Liam O'Connor in there taking advantage? Timing was key on that occasion, and they got it right, and they survived. McCarthy waits now and just slows it down. That's another little victory for Munster, under pressure as they were from Edinburgh. Here goes to Schoeman again. You know Johan van Graan well. Van Graan coached him a few years back. Said he was looking forward to meeting him. Here's Van der Walt back in field. Ball didn't go to hand. It went to a Munster player instead, into the arms of Arno Botha.
Use it!
So that's a couple of little forays in and around that Munster 22 that Munster have managed to repel from Edinburgh. McCarthy hoisting that box kick. There's plenty of hang time on it again. With the exception of that knock on from Maroney, saw they've dealt though with the high ball pretty well so far, Edinburgh. Van der Walt again pops one back inside to Matt Scott. They go to the big South African Schoeman once again. McAnally now.
Reload 5.
There goes kicking. He'd spotted that the Ulster wings again were up pretty high. He's just overcooked that marginally.
A good set from Munster. Again, McCarthy accurate with his box kicking and putting Edinburgh under pressure, and I suppose getting rewards here now and being able to clear their lines and, you know, driving Edinburgh back in those tackles. Great work right out of Tommy O'Donnell. He's getting through a hell of a shift so far in this first 25 minutes. He's the guy who's leading the line speed along with Stephen Archer, getting into Edinburgh's faces.
It has to be a drop goal, and the ball has to leave the 22. He played the ball 5 meters inside your own 22. You cannot play that. So it's a scrum. Edinburgh. Time off.
Sammy Arnold looked like he just took a quick tap rather than the 22-meter drop kick, but strange decision.
They're not taking away. They're taking a step back. This is a good enough surface for them to be able to keep up.
Okay.
They're backing off.
Okay, but as long as your front row is leaning, it's difficult for me to say to sell that.
After you said about Hooker keeping his foot like we've done it, but they haven't.
Okay, I'll keep it out, but make sure you keep your brake foot out. Okay.
He's only 25, captaining Munster for the second time tonight, but that's probably wise from Jack O'Donnell, who just putting the question in the mind of Marius Maitreya before we reset with another scrum.
Scrum. It's in the middle of the 22. There's the law. We're in the middle? Okay.
The first Waterford man in the professional era to captain Munster. He lost that game away to Cardiff, his first captaincy in February of 2018. As I said, only 25, a player he made his debut way back in 2014.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Sammy Arnold and Ben Healy, meantime, just switching positions in terms of the Munster defensive set as they look to repel this latest threat, which is coming in the shape of Blair Kinghorn, loose off Van der Merwe.
Yeah, it's in the air.
And Johan Van der Merwe are judged to be
Yours in the air.
Jack O'Donoghue in the air.
Yeah, we saw a similar play from Edinburgh against Leinster, and they got a try from it in one of the early rounds so far, but Munster defending it well, and it was a good attacking proposition for Edinburgh in that case, but Munster read it extremely well. So again, it's just about building pressure again, you know, getting out of their half and being able to play and put something on this game, because at the moment, for the most part, it's just been defending, and just want to see a little bit of invention from these guys, and I'm sure they'll want to get their hands on the ball as well and show these coaches what they're able to do.
Can we get? Make sure
there's the touch finder from Healy again. Got every last inch out of that one to take Munster up into Edinburgh territory, if only just. Marshall now needs to hit his targets.
Ball!
O'Donoghue was the target, and he did take it.
So don't change your mind.
Marshall again.
Use it.
McCarthy now, they go short to Bota.
What's that? Use it.
It's going to be the aerial route again from McCarthy. Duran van der Merwe defending the backfield pretty well, and Matt Scott making yards. 39 times cap. Scott, midfielder. Now Kinghorn, he's not put the ground quickly enough. He managed to make a full 10 metres through that would-be tackle. Gilchrist gets it away to Van der Vault. Jack O'Donoghue, like Tommy O'Donnell, putting in a big shift. A lot of defensive work being expended here from Munster, and McCarthy physically on that occasion isn't a match for Magnus Bradbury. Burgos to Mata. It was more than a physical match for most. Well, the ball is popped back on the Munster side. Archer did well there. Mata lost it, and here goes Arno Bota. Knock-on advantage over as Munster recycle. Healy now, he's got lots of options, and they've got options wide with Wooten, and he kicks one over the top of Kinghorn. The chase on Wooten and Daly there. That's better for Munster.
Yeah, the right idea, but just a little bit too much on the kick, and we want to see this Munster back three get hold of the ball, and we know how quick they are and how elusive they can be.
No, it's 22 drop out.
It's almost every time Munster attack now, you're looking for that little bit of X factor, those little glimpses into what Stephen Larkham's trying to do.
Absolutely, and like we said, it stems from carries like Bota that we saw in the midfield, and you know, he's come off the bench in a number of games in the season so far, and he's had a real impact, and he's a guy that Munster will be looking to today to generate that quick ball. And just indecision again in the backfield, and Munster just need to tidy up.
They'll have to do with a Edinburgh line out on their own 10-metre line as Healy finds touch.
Sur la ligne bleue.
Edinburgh's 2 defeats in their 6 matches so far. Hefty away loss at Leinster by 40 points to 14, and a narrow defeat against Benetton, 18 points to 16. Otherwise, they've been very good this season. Watson, that was good delivery, nice switch in midfield. Back in again it goes from Jaco van der Vault, and maybe one trick too many. That's Munster now, kicked downfield up towards the Edinburgh 22, and a red line of attackers come surging forward, putting the pressure on Van der Merwe now. Can they drive over the top of the ball? Munster get the penalty.
Well,
the kick's only as good as the chase, and the chase was very good. It was a foot race between 4 or 5 Munster players to get there.
Yeah, a pretty intricate play from Edinburgh, but Munster stayed alive on the inside and worked really well defensively, and Sammy Arnold with that kick and a really good chase on the outside, putting Edinburgh under pressure, not giving Van der Merwe any opportunity to build up ahead of steam. We know how strong he is with ball in hand, but great opportunity here from Munster.
Well,
sure
we're
it's
in
no
the
early contact.
final 10
Don't put
minutes
your
of the
hand
half,
between
and they've had precious
the
little
lifters.
field position or real opportunity from which to strike. They did have that line out which went awry from Finian Wycherley on this near side a little while ago. If they can make it count here and get back on level terms or close to, it'll be a huge fill-up for Munster in the run-up to half-time. The Edinburgh defensive maul trying to shift Munster towards that far touchline. The ball there for McCarthy though. And here they come at real pace and power. Quick ball required. Healy, lots of options, gets it away to Daly. Wooten was waiting, poised and ready. Real opportunity there for Munster. They go again. They reorganise, assessing the options and angles and threatening that Edinburgh try line. 7 minutes before half time. Surge towards the line, but a metre or two short. And now, right in front of the post, the base of the post is there potentially for Wycherley. McCarthy goes short. That must be a try. And still they're held short. Sammy Arnold looked as though the try line was there at his mercy, but he was kept half a yard short somehow by that Edinburgh defence. Double figures in terms of the phase play. There's an arm around the neck from Bill Mata, I think. There's the base of the post. Edinburgh drive Munster back and they go again. Is it Tommy O'Donnell in there? O'Donoghue's there as well. Marshall is barking out the orders. Everybody is packed in there on top of the ball, very narrow. Munster have nobody to the left, but they've everybody to the right hand side.
On the line.
As they look to pick and drive. Now they've got numbers to the left. Across come the Edinburgh defenders to cover Alex Wooten. They'll keep it in with the pack of forwards. Tommy O'Donnell drives towards the line. Ball is forced back again somehow. Resolute Edinburgh defence.
Advantage offside.
They're offside now. Wycherley forces it back on the Munster side. And again, somehow they're repelled.
On the line.
For now at least. How long can Edinburgh keep up the defence? That's quicker ball. McCarthy now.
You're playing advantage for offside.
Mismatch though in terms of size, and he can't get over. Can they get over now? Surely Matre is there. The ball is very close to the try line.
On the line.
We've gone over 20 phases. Can they get it down? Well, we're going to have a look. I think it's 23 phases, and it's Tommy O'Donnell who comes up with the ball, and he looked as though he was happy that he placed that very close to the line. Let's find out.
Against Edinburgh for offside.
It's going to be a penalty anyway for that offside.
My off-field decision is try. Can you check if it's any knock-on when he touches down the ball?
Okay.
Yeah, you're playing at the advantage. If no try, it's penalty for you.
Check for a possible knock-on.
Yeah, I'll have a word about that. I know, I'll have a word about that.
So the on-field decision, crucially, is a try. Another, unless we are told otherwise or shown otherwise from the replays. Munster will be right back in this game.
Marius, once we've got this sorted, I think you should have a strong word with Edinburgh about that. It happened twice.
This could be the clincher.
No, fine.
There's no way of telling there. I think I'm probably going to go to the referee's on-field decision if we can't see any grounding there.
It's a try, the on-field decision.
Can't see any reason that he should change his on-field decision based on what we've seen, because what we've seen is very little. Can't see anything there, can you? Just did have that little suspicion, Marius Matre, that there may have been the slightest of knock-ons from Tommy O'Donnell. Relentless pressure. He's convinced, but then you always are when you've got the ball over the try line, irrespective of how you've got it there. A couple of occasions they could have gone right, and then maybe laterally they could have gone left to Alex Wooten, but they kept it in with the forwards. 22, 23 phases.
There's nothing clear there. He should stick to his decision.
Yes, Marius, I'm trying to check if it's possible to see the ball or not.
Okay. If you have no clear evidence, I'm going to award it try.
I know, Marius.
Yep.
There are no evidence about if the ball has been grounded or not, so you stay with the on-field decision.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a try for Tommy O'Donnell.
Please. Captain, come here, please. Okay.
In the meantime, Marius
So I'm
Mitchell is just going to speak to Henry
score.
Pirgos.
I'm going to talk about your players lifting the posts, lifting the Guinness 14. The black, it happens twice. That's the unsportsmanship conduct. If it happens again, it's maybe more than a penalty. Okay, it's very dangerous also. So have a word with about this, and try is good.
And so the try will stand. Tommy O'Donnell has got Munster right back in the thick of things here at Irish Independent Park in Cork. Conversion to come from Ben Healy, and all their hard work pays off. The try stands.
Yeah, great pressure, great build-up from Munster, good patience, and there were opportunities there. Calvin Nash on the right-hand touchline screaming for the ball, but the pack working really, really hard in holding onto that ball for numerous phases, and the power then from Tommy O'Donnell at the end.
Well, it's a really good effort from Healy from the conversion. Huge roar around the stadium in Cork, and Ben Healy has added to his penalty with a conversion to make that a 7-pointer on 4 minutes to half-time. These sides are level at 10 points apiece.
It's interesting, the referee was having a word with Edinburgh over the pads on the post. Edinburgh players lifting the pads up so the Munster players weren't able to touch it down at the base of the pad, and pretty cynical out of the players, and the referee gave them a really stern warning.
Well, as he said quite rightly, apart from cynical and not being in the spirit of the game, it's very dangerous. Here come Munster looking very dangerous on the counter-attack. Jack O'Donoghue, the captain, leading by example. Quick ball required from Guggan. Gets it in field to Arno Bota. Much better now from Munster, who've worn to the task here in Cork tonight. McCarthy gets the move into Healy again through the hands. Guggan gets it out to Arnold. The kick chase from the far side. Great take from Calvin Nash. McCarthy now again. All of a sudden, having been in a little bit of a slumber for 25-30 minutes, Munster have roused themselves here, and the crowd find their voice. And these are testing moments now for Edinburgh, who are in control for large portions of this first half. The championship minutes, Munster hoping to forge away in front, having trailed to the lion's share of the half. Archer puts his shoulder to the wheel now. Healy goes deep, and they've got options with Daly and Woodson. There's another Munster advantage here as Edinburgh's discipline is costing them.
Number 6 late hit on number 10, right?
I think it was a challenge from Magnus Bradbury on Ben Healy, which has been spotted by the officials. McCarthy, Healy now gets it away to Archer.
Still advantage if you want.
Offloaded out of the contact to Arnold, and here's Guggan. Guggan gets it away to Bota. Great pickup by the big number 8, and he's up to the Edinburgh 22. Woodson over the ball, and then McCarthy's taken out as well. O'Donoghue gets it back. Woodson. Reece Marshall into contact. They've stacked the short side here. It's gone to Bota. Did that go forward? Yeah, we're going back for the penalty because that was a knock on. Well, there's any amount of infringements in there.
Yes, we have 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah, the crowd booing. Eroni Sow in the wing got up and impeded the half-back and trying to get the ball away. And
okay, I have a
we're just quite ill disciplined now at the moment, and
10,
Munster an opportunity to take advantage of it.
Then number 14 entering on the wrong
get
side.
In before half-time.
Clearly taking out number 9. Have a word, no more.
The mark is where you were inside the 22.
A little bit of attention for Dylan Guggan, and
okay, we'll give the benefit of the doubt.
I'm pretty sure the
non vi sentivo, se parlate entrambi, non ti
number
sentivo.
6, Magnus Bradbury.
Parla uno.
What's the decision here at 10 points apiece? Going to the corner.
Yeah, certainly their tails are up, and they've enjoyed a bit of confidence there in the last few minutes. And lovely break down the touchline, Alex Wooten, and lovely inside ball to Jack O'Donoghue. Great break, gave them the momentum. Munster now in a really, really good opportunity to build on that last phase of play where they held on to the ball for a number of phases. And
he's sure.
1 minute remaining to half-time.
Execute this clinically from this kind of position. How many times have we seen it?
One stop.
McCarthy going in there, digs it out. A decent initial defensive effort that from Edinburgh. It's more than that. They've They've got themselves off the hook there.
Easy, hey, leave him.
Yeah, I think it was Ben Toulis found his way through the maul there and disrupted the Munster platform, and Munster just a little bit loose in that maul. Toulis finding a little avenue to get in and get his hands on it, but Munster will certainly, I think they'll take a 10-point 10-all draw going at half-time, given the territory and possession that they've had during that first 40 minutes.
Yeah, strong work from Toulis. There was no way he was giving that up to Nick McCarthy in there. It's a big turnover as the clock goes red.
Crouch! Bind!
Inside the opening 2 minutes, courtesy of that Matt Scott try.
Listen, hey, listen to me.
Munster find a way back into it with that Tommy O'Donnell try.
Hold as well, can't put it back. Okay, let's go.
Plenty for the respective coaching tickets to work on at half-time, and just a little bit of cohesion perhaps at crucial times from Munster has been lacking in the opening 40 minutes, but they've certainly improved as the half has worn on.
Yeah, there's been glimpses from Munster. I think a lot of it has come on the back of, Edinburgh errors and pressure from Munster defensively and good kick chase, and they'd like to see a little bit more in attack and just growing confidence as the second half goes on.
Mata comes away at pace from the base of that Edinburgh scrum. Manages to take Edinburgh outside their own 22. And this, they've reversed that decision here, Munster. And maybe there's a little bit of redemption in that, but they can't add to their points tally down in that corner, but they don't let Edinburgh out. Edinburgh came out of the blocks at a rate of knots. There was an error-strewn opening 20 minutes from a Munster side, showing 14 changes from last week. Matt Scott with that early try. Tommy O'Donnell, after 23 phases though, crashing over to bring Munster right back into it, and they can't be separated at half-time in Cork. Hang around in the home dressing room for a moment or two longer, but Johan van Graan has long since taken a seat up here beside us, so maybe it was one or two of the team leaders on a night like tonight with all those raft of changes, perhaps the like of the try scorer Tommy O'Donnell or the captain Jack O'Donoghue talking to the players, or indeed Graham Rowntree or Stephen Larkin. But can Munster find the momentum that they rediscovered in the closing 10 minutes of that opening half and take that fight to Edinburgh in the opening exchanges of the second half? And Will they go to the bench as the game goes on? They've fought their way right back into this. And that young man with ball in hand needs to have a good second half if Munster are to steer themselves on course for victory here. And it's Ben Healy that gets us underway. Kicking into the Edinburgh 22 and into the arms of Bill Mata. You see a huge amount of the 17 times cap Fijian back rower with ball in hand. That's a good thing from a Munster point of view. He was largely shackled in the opening 40 minutes. Shane Daly under the high ball, lots of kicking so far in the game. Tommy O'Donnell into contact.
7 blue offside. 7 blue
Edinburgh offside, and they've given away quite a few cheap penalties in the last 10 or 15 minutes of the first half, and they've continued that into the second, and Munster in a position to get down into that 22.
Offside.
A good opportunity again. This was, like Jerry spoke about, that exit from Edinburgh. They're looking for that box kick, but Edinburgh just too eager in that defensive line, giving Munster an opportunity now to build a bit of pressure in the start of the second half. And looks like Ben Healy's going to have a shot.
Well, he's a long way out. Just 5 metres inside the Edinburgh half of the pitch, and this would be a huge momentum shift and a boost for young Ben Healy. Tell you what, he's very close. Oh, that's magnificent. Really good from young Ben Healy. Full of conviction and confidence, and that will do his confidence the power of good. Little thumbs up. That's a big moment in the game for him.
Yeah, brilliant kick, and you spoke about it, Conor, that Munster need this guy, stepping up in these big moments, and if Munster are to see this game out, and what a kick by the young man.
So 2 minutes into the second half, having gone behind after only 2 minutes of the first, Munster find themselves in front for the first time in the game. Gilchrist on the carry for Edinburgh.
Careful.
Pyrgos quickly recycled. Van der Voort gets it away to the man they call Pinball Watson, and he bounces off a couple of tacklers. Pyrgos again. McAnally found himself in and out of the Scotland side of the World Cup behind Fraser Brown until Brown was injured, really. Mata. Again, Munster deal relatively well with his immediate threat. Handling skills are good from Edinburgh and from Gilchrist, and now they go Van der Voort again, and this time it's a little bit loose in midfield, albeit backwards, but there's a sniff there for Sammy Arnold over the ball. Can't quite slow it down, taken on by Ceccarelli.
Tackle now, release 6.
Up to the Munster 10-metre line. On they go with Ben Sulis. Show and go from Van der Voort. Dan Goggin was dispatched off the ball there, but back on his feet to make the tackle. Pyrgos goes again, and Edinburgh come looking deeper into Munster territory here. Patient approach into double figures in terms of the phase play. Oh, McAnally right through. Support from Scuban. Has he got the legs to get there? Will his momentum carry him over? He tried to place the ball on the try line, Marius. The trail was right there. Munster back in numbers.
We're going to check it.
And we're going to have to check to see if that was a try. What a break from McAnally. Support from Scuman. And he is pacey. He carries so well. He's big and strong. Did he get there?
Yes, Marius.
On-field decision is held up. Just make control if it's any touchdown. On the line, please.
Okay, on-field decision is no try. Check a possible grounding.
Okay, so this time the crucial communication is on-field decision, no try.
see anything?
No, I couldn't see the ball from where I was standing. I could only see one goal.
As he spins around there. Oh, it's great defensive work, isn't it?
Just short, I think, just short. Great tracking back by Jack O'Donoghue.
Marius, one more angle to see.
No, it's not the it's not the part of the. Yeah, no, he wasn't.
Yeah, and then it's Daly and Arnold in there as
No,
well,
it's not-
wasn't it? But initially,
it's not that.
O'Donoghue
He's
did
the
exceptionally
number one.
well.
Okay,
Rolling
Marius,
into it.
this is the best angle. The ball has never reached the goal line, has been held up.
Okay.
They're not releasing.
No. It's short. Scrum.
Let's go!
So they're still on the defensive. This is the break from McAnally
Here's
again.
the mark.
Yeah, it just seemed to open up from him. Great support on the inside, but it stemmed from that kick-off. Initially, Darren O'Shea going up uncontested and just spilling the ball and
Can we have a
giving
ball,
Edinburgh
please?
the opportunity to take Munster through phases. And it's
Throw the ball, please.
just these errors after Munster score. They can't let Edinburgh back into the game. It's just that concentration and need to eliminate these if they've any chance
Okay.
of winning this
Let's go.
game.
Time out.
Let's go, Reg. Let's go, lad. Lads, let's go.
Shane Daly's started 4 of his 6 games this season on the wing, just his 3rd tonight at
Crowd.
fullback.
Bind.
3 years through the academy system, and
Set.
now with a senior contract. Here's
Stay behind the ball.
Pyrgos now to feed that scrum. Mata so dangerous from this kind of range. Tommy O'Donnell was quickly out of his bind and alive to that threat, taken on by Toulouse. Inside the 5-metre line,
Stay
Skooma
up. Keep your.
is Edinburgh with that familiar 3-man wedge, just try and bundle forward,
No.
protecting the ball, and the
Stay up. Stay up. Don't do that.
those one-out carries. Munster coming in with real momentum. He's had a
Release.
great game tonight. Tommy O'Donnell didn't feature, remember, last week against Racing. One of those very much putting his hand up. Van
Use
der
it.
Merwe is in acres of space over on this
Stop
near
doing
side,
that.
by the
Just
way.
play the
But
ball.
for now, they're
No. No.
taking the
Check.
Munster approach, trying to do to the home side what Munster did to them with that Tommy O'Donnell try. Inch by inch at this moment in time, no more than that against this Munster defence.
Use it.
Pyrgos now digs it out. Now they go for a little bit of width, and that's really good from Arnold, but they got the pop away, and then in comes the tackle, and Reece Marshall thumps one downfield. Listen to the roar as the siege is lifted. It's back though with Matt Scott. He comes back against the grain, and then he is snared inside the Edinburgh half of the field.
No hands. Rock.
There's a lot of these little 50-50 calls now just going the way of Munster. Van der Vault as Munster retreat back into field position. Positioning is good from Wootton. This kick though is directly towards the Edinburgh fly half. Van der Vault measures.
Stop free.
Plenty of distance on it, but the position in the backfield is good. And here's Nash. Right as he fancies a run at this Edinburgh defence.
He's pinned. He's pinned there. The ball is available.
Great tackle, wasn't it, from Sammy Arnold? And then the follow-up was good too after Edinburgh got the offload away.
Use it.
He's just looking for a little bit more from a few of his forwards. Nick McCarthy. He wants the adequate protection back there, and once again that was 9 on 9. Pyrgos got his timing right, nothing wrong there in the eyes of Marius Maitreya. Bota. It's a real arm wrestle in those tight exchanges.
Use
Plenty
your
of energy
feet.
being
Who's
expended
on your
by
feet, not your hands.
both sets of forwards in
Use
particular.
it.
McCarthy waits. And once again he's testing Kinghorn under that high ball. He's been equal to most of what's been thrown his way. So too is Van der Merwe now. Can they manufacture an opening here with numbers? Well, they've managed to do the initial part really well. Bennett into Scott. Was that forward? Right in front of us again, Peter.
Yeah, frenetic phase of play, and You know, it came from that Munster having to defend their line, and like you said, a great tackle from Sammy Arnold. But again, you know, Munster not kicking on their terms. Nick McCarthy, you know, kicking the ball. And you look at the majority of the forwards were on the deck, and you don't want to kick where there's no kick chase in that midfield. And Edinburgh spotted that and shifted it to the edge, and Munster were down numbers. So it's again, Jerry spoke about it at half time. Munster need to kick on their terms, and just need to get a little bit more organised.
Use your hands.
A little bit quicker.
He used his hands.
And there's that tackle again, and the follow-up which dislodges the ball. He's just receiving some attention by Sammy Arnold. I wondered, did it come in that hit?
You're fine. Time on.
And he's fine. Just a second start of the season. Another player who's been brought back in low on game time.
Yeah, really aggressive player, and himself and Dan Goggin in the centre partnership tonight have been really good, along with Munster's back row. I think they've been the real focal points from a Munster point of view going forward, and also defensively there, as you can see from Arnold.
There's another of the big former Ulster centres at Munster that did all the damage, or a lot of the damage this time last year. Chris Farrell on his return from a lengthy injury with 2 brilliant tries when Munster won this fixture 44-14 12 months ago. Peter O'Mahony looking on. It's been a really good performance by the Munster loose forwards, Jack O'Donoghue and Tommy O'Donnell tonight. In the absence of O'Mahony and others.
Blue.
Which way is this going straight? Penalty for Munster again, and it's been a really interesting flashpoint, and all the numbers in to show their gratitude to the pack.
Yeah, another one again. I'm not too sure on that one. The wrong fella here next to you, Conor, to talk about a front row, but yeah, Munster will take it now. And a lovely little touch finder from Ben Healy, and another opportunity just to build a bit of pressure. And you've seen Munster go to the front of the line out in these positions, and Edinburgh have dealt with it really well and disrupted a lot of those balls. So maybe a little bit to the tail, maybe, and get Goggin and Arnold into those channels out a bit further.
There's a time to try something a little bit different. We saw them go off the top to Keith Earls at first receiver off a line-out against Rossin last week, but it's a little bit more of the same here.
One stop. Don't change your body, stay there. Use
that's executed better from a Munster point of view, but strong in defence from Edinburgh. In the midfield, a short switch from Goggin to Arnold, which is comfortably read by the Edinburgh rear guard now. Healy gets the moving outside with Daly. Is there a little bit of daylight on the outside? Testing Blair Kinghorn there. Bota, one-handed. It was behind him when he gathered it, took it at full throttle. McCarthy now sniping around that short side. Gets it away to Darren O'Shea. Do they run out of pitch? No, it's there for McCarthy again. Marshall. McCarthy this time to Liam O'Connor. McAnally was leading the charge for Edinburgh in defence, and O'Donnell, as he has done so many times tonight, leading the charge offensively from the Munster point of view. O'Shea again.
Release 8.
Matta and Watson together, double teaming him. Marshall. Munster right in front of those Edinburgh posts. There's another penalty coming. These penalties are ratcheting up against Edinburgh, and they could in the final analysis be very costly. Healy with a shot to nothing really. Has a little look and he runs into Watson and Bill Matta. McCarthy knows they've got the advantage and they'll come back for that.
No advantage, high tackle. Number one.
Good pressure from Munster again.
Keep coming, there you are.
Again, showing a little bit of creativity out in the edge, and Shane Daly has been impressive. His footwork on that edge, just getting over the gain line and enabling Arnold Botha to come onto the ball at real pace. Just Munster struggle a small, but when Edinburgh get in and slow that ball down and trying to generate that quick ball again, Munster just looked a little bit indecisive in how they go about creating that kind of that go forward again with McCarthy and Ben Healy at the halfbacks. They need to control things, just that tempo. They need to direct the forwards around the field a little bit better.
And that's the high hit from Pierre Schoeman. A couple of changes in the offing, by the way. They're going to change at fly half. Simon Hickey is ready to come in, and having conceded a couple of penalties, it looks as though Simon Bergen is going to come in on the tight head side of the front row. So Richard Cockerell reacting to what he's seen in the opening 12 minutes of this half. That's another Ben Healy three-pointer. And Munster creep further in front here. 2 penalties in the opening 13 minutes of the second half for the 20-year-old Tipperary man.
Yeah, it's just, we had 13 minutes, it's just the first penalty they give it.
Yeah, another great kick from him, and showing you much more confidence now, settle into this game. And it's kind of what you want from this guy, controlling the game and keeping the ball ahead of the forwards now. It's clean take here from the kick-off. And
again, it's not clean. There's nobody really underneath that, and it's seemed to go forward initially anyway. Yeah, it's loose.
It's 2 from Darren O'Shea now. He won't be happy with that, and it's at this level, you know, these are the moments where you're out in the training field, practicing with your lifters.
Work on your gap. We're creeping the pre-engage.
It's just disappointing. Munster just getting another 3 points on the scoreboard and conceding that territory now. And Edinburgh again in good position. We know they like to attack off set pieces like this. They're quite inventive, and another dangerous opportunity.
700 yards, but remember they made 5 of those inside the opening 20 minutes, so they did manage to improve things a little bit.
Pre-engage on that side.
Too early over on the far side, says Marius Maitreya.
Clearly pre-engage. Hold your weight. Get the distance.
So just to reconfirm those switches, then Hickey in and Simon Bergen as well.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Tommy, work hard! Tommy, work hard!
So what can they manufacture here? They all move to the left-hand side, through the hands from Bennett. Out it goes to Van der Merwe. Munster
tackle,
funneling across just in the nick of time. Burgos recycles and gets it away to Mata. Looks to press the accelerator and bring that ballast into the Edinburgh attack, taken on by Pierre Schoeman. Burgos now to Hickey. His first real involvement. He has a little look at that Munster defence. Munster are in from the side at ruck time there on Hickey. Penalty conceded. That's against Tommy O'Donnell. Schoeman now takes it on. O'Donnell tackles him. Little snipe from Burgos. They know they have the advantage.
No advantage. Number 7 in the side. Need to come back.
It's just these errors again. Like I spoke about that kick-off, and then there was a free kick at the scrum, and a penalty now. Just giving Edinburgh opportunities to get back into this game. And just simple things that guys like Tommy O'Donnell now just need to be talking to the pack and talking to everybody, saying really concentrate, really focus when we have the ball and clear our lines. Because they've spent far too much time in this 22 so far in the game.
That's a good clean strike, no mistake from what was a straightforward penalty attempt from Simon Hickey. You just get the feeling now, 56 minutes on the watch, it may well be nip and tuck all the way home from here. Very, very little in this one. And the points very much in the balance.
Because Edinburgh haven't really created much. It's down to, again, errors and penalties that have allowed both sides really back into the game.
Well, that was very contestable. Calvin Nash almost may have thought he got his hands on it. Edinburgh do manage to secure it. Kyrgios dropping right on halfway. Well watched by Daly. O'Donnell tackled by Tulis on this occasion. McCarthy comes back to the right hand side. Here's Healy again. Again, he's attacking that gain line, and it's usually Hamish Watson who's got him in his gun sights. There's a Munster half break on halfway. Edinburgh close ranks, and it's taken on by Goggin.
The boys are on that side, mate.
Healy standing flat, and he just flips one back inside to Alex Woodson. In off that left-hand wing. Healy once more. This time it's a skip-out pass to Bolta, and he bounces off Kinghorn, and he gets away from Shaw, and he's still going. Supporter eyes. Quick ball required. What can Munster manufacture here? O'Shea this time. McCarthy barking out those orders, and Reece Marshall on the carry. Here they go again with Arnold. Strong initial hit by McAnally in defence, and taken on by Wycherley now. Oh, Edinburgh player on the wrong side. Mata again. Just slows it down a fraction. Taken on Marshall on his hands and knees. Not tackled, not held. Up to 5 metres.
Use it!
And having shipped those 3 points from a rather careless penalty, Al Munster hit back with a little bit extra here, potentially. O'Donnell, the man who gave away that penalty, the man who scored the Munster try in the first half. And this time, though, Edinburgh will get the penalty right in front of their own post.
Sealing off, and number
Sealed
7
off
on
by
his feet.
Liam O'Connor, and Munster off their feet as well.
Yeah, great steal by Watson in the end. You can see here Munster driving in, but Watson straight over the ball. He's so hard to move in those positions. But again, good energy from Munster. We saw them get into the Edinburgh 22, and a huge carry by both, and just that power up the touchline. You know, so strong.
Okay.
Lovely flat ball from Healy on the edge, but both are right in those tackles so well. Staying in field, and that fen and leg drive is so good. Getting in behind that Edinburgh defence, and on the back of it, Munster showing some good invention, and just that pace and that intent to get over the gain. And we can see it when Munster get in to the Edinburgh 22. I'd like to see a little bit more of it out around the halfway line, and just that intensity.
Well, we're into the final quarter of the game, and it's a 3-point match.
Why stop?
One try apiece.
Move out, move away, 4. No, stay there.
Edinburgh trundling forward. Momentum now is stalled, and it's with Pyrgos. Really good kick. John van der Merwe was very much in the peripheral vision of Calvin Nash. And then it's been played by Darren O'Shea.
Yes. Okay, number 5, offside, plays the ball into touch. Knock on.
Yeah.
It's been an area all night that Munster have
substitutions after the penalty, please.
failed to deal with a lot of these high balls. And
5, 10 and 13 red.
To be fair, those kicks from Pyrgos are right on the money, but too many times now Munster have popped up that ball, and guys just haven't dominated that space.
Number 5,
3 changes for Munster. Jed Holloway's coming in, so too JJ Hanrahan and Rory Scannell. Sammy Arnold, Ben Healy and Darren O'Shea, the 3 players to be withdrawn.
Time on, who's back? Munster.
Well, I know a nice round of applause for young Ben Healy as he's withdrawn in the 62nd minute here. Well, the Munster charges that have been brought in straight into the defensive effort here from the set piece. Hamish Watson around the corner to Schumann. On it goes to Mata. Pyrgos missing out Gilchrist and going for Bradbury instead. And once again they go open. Taken on by Tugas. Pyrgos. Hickey back inside to Scott.
Lost. Advantage.
There's another Edinburgh advantage coming there.
Play advantage.
Pyrgos, Hickey, what can he do with the penalty advantage? Well, he gets his offload away, and he might try something a little bit out of the ordinary here. The crossfield kick his own potentially, all on the point. So it's worked out absolutely perfectly. Ferreroni saw, and the Fijian gets the try that Edinburgh craved, and they find themselves back in front.
Oh, it was a shot to nothing, wasn't it? A kick for the corner. Edinburgh going nowhere. Kinghorn came back and on the sweep to the opposite side. Lovely little chip ahead. Wooten just caught it a bit flat. Edinburgh had the advantage, so really, really good kick in the corner. But again, it stemmed from Munster error from a kick, and just gifting the ball back to Edinburgh. You just can't do it at this level, where you've got to control those situations, got to be dominant in the air, and Munster be really, really disappointed with aspects of that game.
He's okay?
He carried that for a long time, Blair Kinghorn, before he was absolutely sure, and he got the execution absolutely perfect.
Okay. If you have any subs, guys, you can do it now.
Sean, can you give me number 1 red, please? He's coming off.
Another Munster change coming in the front row, but there may be
as well, Sean. 1 and 3 red, please, Sean.
An enforced change potentially for Edinburgh. James Cronan's going to come in for Liam O'Connor.
Done.
Difficult angle this for Simon Hickey. As he just pushed that across the face of the post, he has, so a little bit of a let off there. Edinburgh back in front, 18 points to 16 as we look at that little bit of invention on the penalty advantage from Kinghorn.
Can we play on?
Good to go, Marius.
Time on.
So a couple of switches in actual fact in that Munster front row. Keenan Knox and James Cronin both in for Stephen Archer and Liam O'Connor.
Use it!
And that's Keenan Knox there with the white scrum cap. Well, this time there was communication. I'm not sure if that might have just drifted all the way into touch.
Right.
Daly made it his.
Number 7 red, please, Marius. Apologies, substitution. Number 7 red.
Number 7.
Munster emptying the bench in dribs and drabs here. Tommy O'Donnell is coming off. 65 minutes. Good shift from him. Got his try. Conor Oliver in his place. A 24-year-old former Leinster man who came through the age grade ranks at Leinster before joining the Munster Academy.
Don't take your bind, 17. Don't. One, stop. Don't take your bind. Stay there. Wait.
Another high ball for Nash to deal with. He's got Duan van der Merwe running over the top of him to deal with as well.
Use it.
Keenan Knox testing his scrum half abilities, but it was the gather from Conor Oliver that let Munster down.
Yeah, it's been a story of the second half, really, and Munster just, there's no excuses. They need to cut these errors out of the game. Edinburgh now 18-16 ahead, last 15 minutes of the game. And Munster got to do these basics, and they got to get out of their 22. And at the moment, the way they're playing and the way they're controlling the territory, it's just not good enough. And these errors, you're not going to be able to win a game. Again, it was a good kick from Purgas, right on the money, right on the touchline, and very, very difficult for Munster to play away from that area. But simple handling errors are just killing Munster at the moment.
Yeah, okay. Good.
Yeah, he's controlling things at 9 well, Pyrgos at times. So much experience, of course. 8 years at the Glasgow Warriors and then transferring to Edinburgh. Got called up to the World Cup following that injury, nasty injury to Ali Price. Bill Mata is okay to continue.
Crouch! Bind! Hey, quiet. No, we spoke. You need to hold your weight. And you need to kick the head. It's both here, okay? Let's try and work it.
We'll get it right. Let's go. Great balance on me. Great balance on me.
A few fresh personnel in there, of course. Cronin and Knox in particular from Munster. Bergen from Edinburgh's point of view over on that tight head side.
Bind. Set.
It's a bit more steady. Straight into the left hand of Bill Matson and spilled forward by George Taylor. That was a great opportunity for Edinburgh. 13 minutes to go, leading by 2. Woodson's kick is half charged down.
No, advantage was not over. Always under pressure. We'll go back for advantage.
It's back for the initial knock on from Taylor. That,
yeah, like you said, it was a good attacking position from Edinburgh. Matt just couldn't get hold of the ball. A bit of a poor pass, and really hard for Taylor to hold on to that one. But again, wouldn't maybe a bit lucky at the end, kicking the ball away and coming back from the scrum again. But Munster again just need to set this platform, kick on their terms, and get back into the Edinburgh half, because it's a 2-point game, still 12 minutes to go. There's still a huge opportunity for Munster to get back into this.
Substitution red, number 2, please.
Number 2, red.
Munster want to make a change. They want to bring in Kevin O'Byrne here, I think, before this scrum happens. So that's the end of the evening for Reece Marshall.
Come on. Keep your foot out. Keep your big foot out.
No lack of rugby this season, and Kevin O'Byrne, he's featured in some way, shape or form in every game so far.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Both on this side.
Easy. Not steady. Time off. Front rows here, please. Almost the end of the game. We had no scrums until now, and now the changes came, and all of a sudden we have scrums from the beginning. Must improve. You agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Time on. Let's go.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, come on! Let's go, boys!
The question is always in this situation, are they really listening? Will they heed the stern words of Marius Maitreya? The 2 front rows as McCarthy prepares to feed. Another pretty unstable scrum. Plenty of movement before the ball and plenty after the feed from Edinburgh. They were all over Munster there. That required some remedial action from Arno Bota. Good pick off the base, and O'Donoghue back into a pressure situation.
Quiet. Nothing happened. It's inside.
McCarthy waits. Hanrahan very deep, edging closer now as McCarthy gets his kick away from inside the 22 and up towards halfway.
Substitution blue, number 1, please, Marius.
Number one, Edinburgh.
Another front row change for Edinburgh. Rory Sutherland is coming in, but I agree with you, Peter. It's crying out for either team just to take the game by the scruff of the neck and impose a rigid game plan for the last 10 minutes. The game's there for the taking.
Yeah, it is, and even again with Munster's exit there, they've played 3 or 4 phases and not really sure what they're doing. And McCarthy putting the ball off the field, but again, you just want to have that composure, you want to have that control, trying to get the ball back and just giving Edinburgh another opportunity to attack and a really good platform.
Good delivery by Willemse out of touch and a good take, one-handed from Toulouse. Sets up this position. Willemse will be itching to get back into the action. A good 70 minutes for Stuart McAnally nonetheless. Taken on by Taylor. Good bust up the centre from him. Pyrgos gets it away. Bradbury. good work to get out of the way from Rory Scannell.
No hands! No hands!
Found himself on the wrong side. No hands is the cry from Marius Maitre. You're into that kind of territory now where the concession of a cheap penalty could be game over. Scrum half change, as you probably saw from Munster. Top left of your picture, Neil Cronin for McCarthy. Cries of penalty. Oh, that's spilled forward by Taylor. O'Donoghue back there, and Munster off the hook a little bit. This time it's an Edinburgh error.
On the last scrum, red 18 needs to set up straight, and you've got a new prop from Edinburgh.
Just overran it slightly and took it really close to the gain line and just unable to hold on to it. Munster defended that quite well, and Edinburgh shifting that point of attack and going open and coming back, and Conor Oliver on that occasion came up on the outside, shut off that passing channel, and Munster, I suppose it's been the story of the game, really having to defend for long phases and trying to force Edinburgh to make these knock-ons, and they got to make these pay. We got to get out of this 22 area and get down the field, because it's been, like I said, it's been a story of the game far too often.
So Neil Cronin, as I mentioned, is in.
Blue 17, Claire Hendry.
And that is against
17.
Rory Sutherland, who's only just come in. Marius Maitre got the call on a Munster penalty.
Those scrums seem to be a bit of a lottery at the moment, Conor, in terms of who's taking it down. But yeah, Munster find themselves here. I'd like to see them just come off the top a bit. Edinburgh, like I said, have been defending that maul quite well and shortened the line out now. So hopefully a little bit of momentum with both out in that midfield area, maybe.
Damn it.
It's kind of symptomatic of the game, really. It's been messy, scrappy, errors strewn, and frustrating largely.
Captain. Scrub.
Yeah, really frustrating in terms of, Munster's set piece. They've an area of the game they should be really well prepped on and in control of. And a kicking game they should be in control of. It's just these areas that let them down right throughout the night.
The line-out was a mess. What will the scrum be like?
Bind.
Yeah, much of the same.
That's the second one, Marius.
It's the second one. It's a penalty.
Yes.
No, that's a penalty.
Second time. Move back. Second time early.
All the while the clock is running down, heading towards the final 5 minutes, in Edinburgh managing to keep their noses in front.
Yeah, just error after error, really, from a Munster point of view, compounding those mistakes, and like we said, we just can't do it, and just being punished for it there now with a really good kick.
Yeah, really good kick, and the breeze, if anything, is picked up, and that one's sailing right down into that Munster 22. So Munster with a huge amount of defending to do here if they want to try and stay in this game. 5 minutes to go, they trail by 2. 2 tries to 1 in Edinburgh's favour. Ball in the hands of the South African Mike Phillips.
Jumping across.
There's a penalty advantage coming here, and they can be dangerous from this kind of situation, as we saw with that Irani side try. Shot to nothing here. And they try the same tactic all the way across. Oh, it was all on the bounce. Back will come for the penalty in any case.
Jumping across, contact in the air.
Was it against Darren O'Shea, I think?
And contact in the air, disrupting the ball.
Jack O'Donoghue up there too.
It's contact in the air. Hey, go back 10, please.
It was a little bit harsh, I think, and I don't think there was much contact there with the jumper, but again, you look, this happens when you give away so many penalties. A referee, has that kind of picture in his head where, one side has been dominated by the other, and unfortunately from a Munster point of view, it's, they're on the wrong side of it tonight.
No, it wasn't like that. I'm keeping an eye on that.
So Willemse once more. Toulouse this time the target. Can they get this driving maul going? Well, they're edging forward. Now there's a little bit of momentum there. Munster need to regather. No, it's there for Edinburgh here. Surely if they can get the numbers in, and they come piling in. Is there a Munster player in from the side there? Or has he come through legally? 2 metres shy of the Munster line, and Munster turn it over. Oh, that's a huge moment. Still enough in this game, potentially. 77 minutes. It's a long way upfield. Munster need to try and make the most of this now. That could have been the game for Edinburgh.
Yeah, it's Conor Oliver is right in the mix of that, fighting hard. You know, really well done. They're the moments, you know, that could have a huge impact on the result. Like you said, Conor, there's still time left in this game, and it's a long way to go for Munster. We haven't seen much of them from this area of the field, but you know, this will certainly give them a little bit of hope.
Okay. Time on. You have a red scrum. Here.
So a little over 2 minutes to go. Munster find themselves 2 points in arrears. Those 2 second half penalties to show for their second half efforts from Ben Healy. As it stands at the moment, that try scored by Eroni Sau on the penalty advantage from that Kinghorn kick looks to be enough to give Edinburgh their first win in over 15 years in Cork.
Marius, 2 minutes remaining.
There's not a huge amount of distance on that into what is a stiffening breeze, it must be said, blowing straight into the faces of these Munster players from JJ Hanrahan.
On me. Let's go.
Just 1 defeat in their last 9 encounters against Edinburgh for Munster. That was at Murrayfield in March of 2018. So are they going to have to face into only their second defeat of the season?
Ball. One stop. Use it.
Last season win all of their games in the Pro 14 here, and most of those by a very sizable margin. You think back to the game against Edinburgh by 30 points. They put the Ospreys
Lost 17
to the pin of their collar here. Absolutely hammered them.
Use it.
Nearly 3 years, in fact, since they lost on this ground in Cork. It's becoming very, very likely. Edinburgh swallowing up possession, running down the clock, and in prime position.
Use it. Hey,
their 2 tries to Munster's 1. Look to have won the night.
Wait. Use it.
30 seconds to go. Pyrgos is directing things, just wants to run it down some more. He goes to and finds Gilchrist.
You hold him in there.
We'll get Peter Stringer's man of the match very shortly, but it's Edinburgh monopolising possession. Don't have to go anywhere or do anything. Munster need the ball and they can't get it.
Marius, time is up. Time is up.
So we are over the 80 minutes. Edinburgh just need Henry Pyrgos to get the ball in his hands and get it off the park, and it will be a first win in Cork for 15 and a half years for Edinburgh. The scrum half has it, and he fires it up into the stand, and that is it. Richard Cockerell and Edinburgh have beaten Munster on home soil. It's a rare defeat in Cork, an even rarer defeat by Edinburgh in Cork for Munster, and they will rue 1 or 2 opportunities that they had, but ultimately it's that second half try from Eroni Sau, the Fijian, which is the difference between the 2 teams. Let's quickly get Peter Stringer's Guinness man of the match tonight.
Yeah, Guinness man of the match for me, a guy, you know, I think not many standout performers from a Munster point of view tonight, but Jack O'Donoghue has led from the front, and young guy who's captaining the side, and I thought in attack, I thought he was relentless. Also defence, tracking back, making tackles, that try-saving tackle as well, and it was a very, very poor Munster display. I thought he was certainly the standout player from a Munster perspective tonight.
Yes, errors strewn, forgettable game. Irish Independent Park in Cork finishes with a win for Edinburgh. They beat Munster by a final scoreline of 18 points to 16.